It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Ready, set.
Just call me Swanny.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
Finally, Clemson Sports Talk has come back to Drive Time. Hello, everybody. Lawton Swan back in the saddle. Once again, it is the show that shakes the Southland. Clemson Sports Talk for you each and every afternoon as you make your way around the great state of South Carolina and beyond, listening to us on incredible radio stations like Fox Sports Radio 1400 the Midlands, around the world on the iHeartRadio application. Good to be back with you here today. A loaded show, loaded with some Dabo Swinney comments. We're still working to vet our Wednesday guest, hoping that at some point along the way here, as we move towards the college football campaign, we can lock in Brett Cianci, a Pick Six previews on Wednesdays, and also Roddy Jones. That'll be the hope here on the program. And our Thursday lineup will hopefully be Tim Beret and Tommy Bowden. And again, just appreciate everybody for being a part of the program. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, neighbors, and your friends' neighbors. And if you share it, tell us, and we'll put you in the share zone. That's the penalty box. The last thing we want to do is grow this show. I mean, the last thing we want is 100,000 people viewing it at 1 second. I mean, that would just be ridiculous. It would be ridiculous, and we'd take it. So again, share it. Help us continue to grow. We'll hear from Dabo Swinney here coming up in just a few minutes. If you don't already subscribe to our YouTube channel, do that. It is growing. I'm telling you, in a hurry. It is growing. And again, Clemson getting prepared for their matchup with Georgia. We've got audio from the scrimmage on Saturday, post-scrimmage stuff. I don't know what happened with that on Monday, a couple of days ago. I guess with school starting back up, the kids going to school day one, this, that, and the other. That just flew by me. And so here we are on a Wednesday, going to recap that. We also heard from Dabo Swinney yesterday. We'll have that for you in hour number 2. So a whole lot of shaking going on in the upstate. And again, we'd love to have you be a part of this program each and every day from 4 until 6 or via the podcast, which we've been getting up quickly. Also, some exciting news over on the website. The Roar, our daily feature article, returns, which is really cool because I have been doing that for a long time and got so caught up with everything that I sort of pushed it to the back burner for a little bit. Was talking with Scott Sasser, who does some writing for us. And I said, Scott, man, I think you should head this up. And he jumped right in, took it over, knocked it out of the park yesterday. Go check it out on the website. And more importantly, make sure you keep your eyes open for it, because at this point, he's going to try to do it on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday until he gets his legs under him. And then we're looking to make that a 5-day piece throughout the week to kick off your day. And it's not just covering Clemson, a multitude of Clemson notes there, but then some other fun facts and other things going on for you. Just a little, it's kind of like your cup of coffee. We probably should have called it the coffee. Now that I'm thinking about it, that may have been a good choice. But our message for him is the Roar. So we've got that out there for you as well. All right, Dabo Swinney in Tigertown on Saturday after Clemson's scrimmage, spoke with members of the media. Here's some of his initial comments out of the gates here on a Wednesday afternoon. Again, Dabo Swinney up in Tigertown.
There was some good and bad. I was really pleased with a couple of young guys, made a few plays offensively. I thought defensively, we looked like I hoped we would look today. We played clean. We were well positioned. The biggest thing is we had no penalties. I really, truly can't remember having a scrimmage where we didn't have any defensive penalties. I mean, we had no offsides, no holdings, no PIs. I mean, just really played with a lot of discipline today. Loved their efforts. I didn't see any drop off, so that was very encouraging. We mixed it up a good bit, but overall, again, had 2 4th-down stops. Defense had a turnover off a fumble with our pride group. But again, just consistency. I thought all day long, and didn't do things on defense that beat yourself. On the flip side of that, offensively, we did some good things as well, but just way too many penalties. We probably had 10 penalties today, offsides, holding, a couple of receivers offside, running back offside, CQ exchange 3 times. Penalties in the red zone, and those are the things that get you beat. Regardless, it's hard enough to beat defense, and then you do things that beat yourself that you totally control from, offsides, holding, CQ exchange. So that was the biggest frustration, but still a lot of good things. I thought made some nice plays. We had some guys out today, so it was good to see some guys get an opportunity to step up. We're a little more complete on defense right now from a personnel standpoint. With just a few guys kind of banged up offensively, but again, a good day. We got a lot to learn from this tape. This is our preseason game. Watching all the preseason games that crank up in the NFL this weekend. This is all we got. And to try to get ourselves ready and to prepare as many guys as we can.
And Dabo Swinney makes a good point. In college basketball, you get a chance to play some sort of behind closed doors scrimmages, etc., and even matchups between potentially like Clemson and Georgia. That kind of stuff doesn't happen in college football ahead of the season. Some notes there. He talked about the injuries. We'll get to more of that coming up in hour number 2 of the program today. But no surprise that defense is ahead. We've kind of talked about some of that all week with the way that Brent Venables schemes things up. You heard from Braden Galloway talking about earlier in the week about how difficult it is because the offense may not scheme against the scheme. They just are out there trying to run the plays and get the reps and do that type of stuff. Now, Coach Swinney was also asked about the defensive line. Obviously, this is one of the biggest strengths on this team in 2021 and how those guys looked. And here's what he had to say following Clemson's first scrimmage of the fall. By the way, they have another one coming up on Thursday. So tomorrow actually a scrimmage up in Tigertown. But here's what Coach Swinney said after the weekend scrimmage.
They did okay. They did fine. This is, again, their first scrimmage setting. I tell you, Will's electric, man. He covers up problems. He fixes mistakes just because he's so dynamic and so athletic. So you just can't help but notice him when he's on the field. And he creates a different dimension. Billy's solid. I think he was 3 for 6 or 2 for 5, something like that. So they didn't get a ton of opportunity. But the biggest thing we're evaluating these guys on is just doing their job. Sometimes the play's bad or whatever, but we're evaluating these guys not on their stats. We're evaluating these guys on where they are, from their fundamentals, their technique, their knowledge, their functionality, and those guys have done a great job. Billy and Will have really got a good, solid foundation, a good grasp of where we are. Very pleased with Hunter. Hunter. It just looks like he's been here for a year or so. He's put a lot of work in. He knows our system, and so it's good. Obviously, Tyson, he's not scrimmaging yet. I feel great about where he is from a mental standpoint. But Hunter, I thought had a good day today, and just again doing his job. The play may not always go great, or the protection may break down, but just him demonstrating his knowledge and his confidence. I think he's more confident in fall camp than I saw him in the spring. And again, I just think knowledge-wise, he's in a good place. So excited about that, and same thing with DJ.
And so, of course, if you're wondering, you're like, man, that's not a defensive line. Yeah, I guess I must have trimmed that audio out. I apologize for that. Kyle's in the house today. He says, good afternoon, Dabo. Good afternoon, Kyle. Good to have you, man. Nick shared the show. Nick, that's a 2-minute penalty, trying to bring more people in and helping us grow, man. What are you thinking, Nick? We're trying to keep this intimate. Thanks, Nick, man. Always appreciate you. Coach Swinney was also asked about Hunter Rayburn. Obviously, the offensive line is a big question mark right now, especially at center. We've even heard conversations, and the coaches have talked about Matt Bockhorst playing a little bit of center, so we'll get some of that for you. But here's what he was asked. Coach Swinney was asked about Hunter Rayburn and his development as far as his role on the offensive line.
And just consistency, just you got to go take it. I mean, simple as that. I mean, day in and day out, you're the best guy. You got to prove it every day. And we got a lot of competition. Everybody wants to play. Everybody wants to be that guy. So you got to consistently do it. And everything counts, from your snaps, footwork, finishing plays, mentally, being sharp. Too, that center's got to direct everything. And so, just consistency.
And, hearing Coach Swinney talk about the center having to direct things, it really takes me back to conversations that I've had in the past with guys that have been right there in the trenches, whether Scott Pollard making checks and calls at the line, whether it's Jay Guillermo making calls and checks at the line. That is a difficult position. It's a lot more sort of the head of the snake type thing than maybe a lot of people give it credit for being, because, it ends up being on the offensive line and you don't really notice it per se in what these guys are doing in the calls, but that's the way it is. And Eric McLean, when I talk to him about it, it's so interesting to recognize that you can have 80,000 fans just pouring down on top of you, but yet there's an ability to communicate from the center to the guards and ultimately to the tackles, and even maybe with a little pat of the hind end, even to the tight ends. So there's some audio signals, there's some touch and feel kind of signals and cues, but it does seem like there's a little bit of concern for Clemson when it comes down to that offensive line, especially the center spot ahead of this matchup with the Georgia Bulldogs. Coach Swinney was also asked about Xavier Thomas and his return and the way he's been playing, which, again, I noted last week or maybe even 2 weeks ago, I think there would have been some people out there, fair or unfair, that would say, man, Xavier Thomas is mailing it in a year ago. He was dealing with COVID. He was dealing with strep throat, and apparently now looks as good as he's ever looked.
He looks awesome. He looks like a very confident, fast, experienced, healthy version of Xavier Thomas. Really proud of him. Really proud of that whole group. I mean, I really am. Xavier, KJ, and Maskell, and Foster, and Murphy. Those guys are really having some fun and pushing each other, challenging each other. And NXT looks great. It's just such a blessing to be able to see him where he is right now. Very proud of him, happy for him. Know he's going to have a great year for us.
Coach Swinney was also asked to touch on just some of the young guys, some of those young names that showed out during the scrimmage on Saturday.
I thought Dakari made some nice plays and took advantage of a couple opportunities. It's good to see him. Bo wasn't able to go today. He's almost back. He's in green, so he wasn't able to go. But it's good to see Dakari make some plays. Joe has had a very, very steady, solid camp, man. I love his toughness. He shows up every single day. Every day, he shows up and competes. Man, so I've seen some good stuff from some of the young guys and some of those freshmen from last year. But another guy that just flashes at me all the time is Makuba. He's a guy that you just notice all the time. Really, really proud of him as well. So there were several other guys that I thought performed well. Once we watch the tape, I think that'll be confirmed. But Makuba's a guy that just kind of stands out too.
There you go, Andrew Makuba getting more love from Coach Dabo Swinney. Some of this, all of this audio actually up over on ClemsonSportsHall.com, and many notes from the scrimmage on Saturday, which is I would encourage you to go over there and check all that stuff out. Plenty of free content. We'd love to have your support. We'd love to have you step in. Just $63.17. That's right. I said it, $63.17 for you to join us. Help us continue to grow, support our staff, man. We could certainly use that. And excited about some of the things that we've got going on, some of the new things. And again, that feature, The Roar, coming back is a lot of fun for everybody. But one of the guys we've heard from recently a good bit, Jalen Lay, the supersized tight end in Tigertown. And speaking of supersized tight ends, we've got a little update, another key situation out of Athens we'll update you on as far as their tight end spot coming up in just a little bit. But here's what Coach Swinney had to say about the man he calls J-Lay.
Yeah, I want to see the tape and really lock in on where he was point of attack, because we did have some really good competitive situations. But he made a couple plays in the passing game, which was good to see. You know, he's just more confident in every aspect of his game. So this will be a key tape to get in there and evaluate and grade.
And the final thing we'll play for you here in the opening segment of the show that shakes the Southland on a Wednesday afternoon is Coach Swinney just talking about the running back situation at Clemson and the running back room and his confidence in those guys and what he's seen. Again, you had a workhorse in Travis Etienne for season on top of season on top of season, the all-time leading rusher in the ACC. And I'll be honest, if you said, Swanny, I'll give you $100 if you get the starter right for the Georgia game for Clemson at running back, I would probably lean in on Lynn J. Dixon just because of how long he's been around. But, buddy, I wouldn't feel overly confident that I'm going to walk away with your $100. I don't know who the starter will be at running back, but here's Coach Swinney talking about the running backs after the scrimmage on Saturday.
We kind of got everybody in there with the ones. I mean, we got 20 and 23 and 1. They all got in there and got some work with the ones. And, Moffitt got in there mostly with the 2s. But, we divvied it up. And, again, just you come to some of these scrimmages, again, it doesn't always match up. It's not like you're planning to play an opponent. So sometimes it's a mixed bag because there's certain things you want to work on, and maybe it doesn't match up to what you're seeing on defense. And because both sides are working on their stuff, you're not really game planning for Clemson. You're trying to get ready for a season. So, I mean, there's certain aspects we wanted to work on today. We tried to look at a couple things in the passing game. Probably did not run the ball as much as we sometimes do in these scrimmages. Wanted to look at some of the protection things. Wanted to look at a couple of young players outside, and then challenge DJ a little bit as well.
There you go, Dabo Swinney after Clemson's scrimmage on Saturday. We'll have more from Coach Swinney coming up in hour number 2. 803-450-0086. Text line, phone line. Always good to have you be a part of the program. Again, tell your friends and neighbors, and certainly come in and watch the show and share the show. And we do appreciate everybody for being a part of what we do. Now, when we get back here on the program, I touched on some of the issues that Georgia was facing at tight end. And again, we don't know what the circumstances will look like for Eric Gilbert. But there have been further developments at Georgia ahead of this matchup against your Clemson Tigers September the 4th in Charlotte, North Carolina, that I do believe are worth touching on and getting with you about because of the significance in the fact that it's a tight end situation. So is it possible that going into this game, Clemson actually has the better tight end group? We've heard a lot from the tight ends at Clemson this week. They've talked about not having any drop off. Then Georgia, is that possible? I'll tell you what's been going on in Athens when we get back here on the show that shakes the Southland. Stay with us.
Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic, sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed.
Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
A look at traffic shows a wreck on Leesburg Road at Moonrise Street. Also, an accident with injuries on Garner's Ferry at Lewis LeConte. I'm Rob Sanders. Reach out to me in the 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by Northern Tool and Equipment. Looking for serious horsepower for your tough jobs? Get to Northern Tool. Monday through Saturday, they're now open at 7 a.m. to serve you better. Kickstart your workday with them and get more done. Northern Tool and Equipment. Quality tools for serious work.
I'm Mark Morial, President and CEO of the National Urban League. Peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the presence of justice. Our friends at the Peace in the Streets Global Film Festival are introducing their Kids, Cops, and Kindness Equals Safer Streets initiative. And this promotes the United Nations 11th Sustainable Development Goal. I'm inviting everyone, 18 and under, to visit psgff.com to learn how to create a short video about how you envision creating peace in the streets and enter it into this year's Peace in the Streets Global Film Festival.
Are pet hair, dust, and allergies getting the best of you? Call the cleaning experts at Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning and breathe easier. With over 1,500 Google reviews, they're the most trusted cleaner in town. Right now, get $30 off an air duct cleaning plus 15% off lifetime filters and purifiers. Schedule online at ZeroResColumbia.com.
The pandemic has caused families to spend more time in close quarters than ever before. But if you're noticing an emotional distance between you and your child because of their drug or alcohol use, you may not know where to turn. Partnership to End Addiction can help with free guidance, support, and resources. We work directly with families and communities across the country to help save lives. And we can help you too. To end addiction, start with connection. Reach out to us at drugfree.org. That's drugfree.org.
Way back when, Columbia was a vast dining desert, a wasteland for fast, fresh, authentic Southwestern food. Weren't nothing bundled up nice and warm in a tortilla. Columbia needed Diablos. Southwestern the way you want it, the real deal, with no shortcuts in quality and served up as fast and fresh as you want it. Diablo Southwest Grill, Sunset Boulevard in Lexington. DiabloSouthwestGrill.com.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Now, back to Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan on Columbia's home for the 2018 National Championship Tigers, Fox Sports Radio 1400.
Again, Clemson Sports Talk on Twitter at Clemson Sports. Let's check your notes before we get to our notes here for you. Craig is in the house. Clemson Craig, what's up, brother? He says, what's up, Swanny? Ted Lasso was awesome. Thanks for the recommendation. Brother, you got it, man. It's hard not to watch Ted Lasso and think that that dude's based off of Dabo Swinney. And I haven't started season 2, although I'd like to. But we're kind of just waiting because I think right now you have to wait a week. You know, it's on Apple TV Plus or whatever. If you have Apple TV Plus, And maybe a lot of people don't. I don't know. And I can tell you, if you bought a new phone or a new Apple device in the past year, I think you get a year of it for free with that device. Just check the settings and stuff. But For All Mankind is another fantastic series. I've struggled to push into season 2 as much as season 1. Season 1, I mean, I knocked season 1 out in a blink. It was so good. Good to hear from you. Good to hear from you, Clemson Craig. Thanks, brother. Don't forget about the Mark and Craig and Mark show, yet to be a determined release date. Can't wait to hear about that. Justin, checking in the program, he says, Swanny, I got a score prediction. Clemson 31, Georgia 28. The defense makes the final stand. It could be a situation where Clemson's defense does have to stand up, and they've certainly been ridiculed since their performance against Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl in the college football playoff. We kind of talked a little bit about that yesterday when we were talking about the James Skalski play, and that was a big play. That leads to Ohio State going up 14 instead of maybe going up 10, or maybe they even miss a field goal, and now they're still up 7. That's a big play. But Georgia already dealing with Eric Gilbert's personal issues that have sidelined the former 5-star tight end to transfer from LSU. And if you listen to this show, I said, yeah, but they still got Darnell Washington. Tight end Darnell Washington for the Georgia Bulldogs, like 6'8". I mean, this guy's a behemoth. 6'8", 6'7", 265 out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Reports came out, dogpost.com, one of our sister sites in our network, that the Bulldogs have racked up not just one injury, but 2 recently, including tight end Darnell Washington. Smart confirmed the news of the injury, saying that Darnell and Tyke Smith, who is one of the top transfers into Georgia's program out of West Virginia a season ago, both had foot injuries in practice. Smart said that they will both undergo treatment and both have an excellent prognosis, but their status is day to day. Georgia already dealing with several injuries to their wideouts and receiving core. George Pickens with an ACL injury, Dominic Blaylock with an ACL, Jermaine Burton with a sprained ankle, Curls Jackson with a knee injury, John Fitzpatrick with a foot sprain, and then the personal issues that Eric Gilbert is dealing with currently. Kirby Smart said Saturday after the Bulldogs scrimmage, we are beat up a little bit at wideout. We have some injuries, so we don't have all of our guys out there. We have a lot of guys around injured all around, but this time of the year, I think everyone does. But for the most important thing for us is to get some reps tomorrow, get healed. We'll get back to work on Monday. Georgia was not scheduled to practice today, as this is the first day of classes in Athens in the Classic City. So again, it doesn't say whether Darnell Washington is going to be out for a long-term period or a short-term period. Now, we still don't know exactly what's going on with Eric Gilbert and how long he might be unavailable for the Bulldogs. But at this point, injuries are quickly taking away opportunities and options for JT Daniels, the quarterback, the top quarterback for the Georgia Bulldogs, as we go through fall camp. 803-450-0086, text line and phone line. Appreciate each and every one of you being a part of the program. And again, I don't think anybody wishes ill will upon any team or any player, but these 2 injuries seem like, especially losing 2 of your top tight ends, and I don't even know if there's an argument that it is their top tight ends That's tough sledding. And Georgia's defense is expected to be one of the top defenses in all of the land. But if you're without your key players on offense and you're going up against Clemson, they too have one of the top defenses in all of the land. And I don't even know there's an argument that they have the best defensive coordinator in all of the land. And so for the folks over in Athens who have stockpiled talent, like my daughter stockpiles fidgets and poppets and all these little things that kids are buying these days, all of a sudden they've got some breakdowns at some key positions. And I would make the argument that in this game, given what Georgia wants to do on the ground, given the fact that they were already banged up at wideout, and yes, listen, it'll be a different story if that game was this Saturday. But you can bet your bottom dollar the Georgia Bulldog faithful don't like reading this type of news coming out of camp in just a very small window. Yeah, everybody across the country is banged up to a degree, nicks and bruises. But again, day-to-day now, Darnell Washington, and no timetable on Eric Gilbert. That doesn't give you, if you're a Georgia Bulldog fan trying to hunker down, the warm fuzzies. Does not give you the warm fuzzies at all. Lincoln, Nebraska, the Huskers, the eyes are on them. We'll tell you why right after this.
Group training is a fun, accountable way to get in shape. I'm Coach Stewart of Dynamic Health and Fitness. Come train with one of our special groups today. We will focus on giving you the support you need to get in shape. We use the Dynamic Mob, featuring intervals of cardio, functional training, and strength training to change your lifestyle to make you healthy. Get started today at any of our locations in Lexington or West Columbia, or call 803-408-4060 or online at dynamichealthclub.com.
The new year can often bring big changes, some great and some unpleasant. If you're facing a divorce, consult the full-service legal team at Masella Law. Attorney Robert Masella has over 2 decades of experience fighting to protect his clients' assets and making sure that every detail of their divorce is handled carefully. Don't get overwhelmed by the legalities. Get in touch with Masella Law and get started towards your future.
748-9990. Give us a call or just log on MasellaLaw.com.
Now the forecast from the Red Shirt Guys Roofing, theredshirtguys.com.
For the most part, a sunny afternoon, right on point as far as the average temperature, 92 degrees, and a chance of afternoon showers round out our Wednesday. For ABC Columbia, Channel 25, I'm Tyler Ryan.
This report is sponsored by JustPlainKillers.com. Summer means cookouts, pool parties, and more people in your house. So prevent unwanted access to prescription opioids. Take them out of medicine cabinets and lock them in a safe place only you know about. Learn more opioid safety tips at JustPlainKillers.com.
This is Nnamdi Asamoah. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better. And kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor. Because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today, I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
You can help the Federation Center of the Blind continue its mission of opening more doors to blind South Carolinians. Please call 803-254-3777 or email nfbsc@sc.rr.com. Do it today.
Want to hit a home run with your smart speaker? Alexa, play Fox Sports Radio 1400 on iHeartRadio.
That sounds like a pretty good choice to me.
Back at it on a Wednesday, the show that shakes the Southland. Lawton Swan with you. Thank you for being a part of the program. So I mentioned the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and it's amazing. How the worm turns. The Nebraska Cornhuskers, let's not forget, a year ago were one of the teams in the Big Ten who just fan base across the board was almost refusing to believe that COVID-19 was going to derail the college football season. They wanted to play. And at that time, it was weird because you had some leagues that looked like they might play and were going to play. And Nebraska and Ohio State seemed to be two of the teams in the Big Ten that were wanting to play, but I can remember thinking, man, I bet they feel bad for leaving the Big 12. Not anymore, man. How the worm turns on that one. Nebraska's probably sitting there now going, gee whiz, did we get a break? We talked about the footprint and moving teams, and I had somebody reach out to me and say, look, they were chatting on the YouTube page and say, man, you didn't even mention West Virginia in this conversation when you talked about those teams. And that person was right. I didn't bring West Virginia up, but I was really just talking kind of a geographic footprint of those teams that don't fit, and they're not the top tier teams. And honestly, even if West Virginia was the top of the top remaining in the Big 12, they're not in a logical footprint for the SEC, which was what my argument was about anyway. It was about if the Pac-12, the Big Ten, and the ACC come together in some sort of scheduling capacity, who wants to schedule Texas Tech or TCU? Like, that doesn't seem to be a great game for somebody to go out and schedule. That's kind of what I was saying then. But the NCAA is currently investigating the Nebraska Cornhuskers and head coach Scott Frost for inappropriate activities that took place. The report says that the Cornhuskers improperly used analysts and consultants with the knowledge of head coach Scott Frost and even moved their workouts off campus when activities were banned during the pandemic. According to the report, the Action Network said that Nebraska has, quote, significant video footage confirming the practice violations occurred in the presence of Frost and other assistants. Frost told reporters, however, earlier today that any workouts held by the Cornhuskers were approved by his superiors. He said everything we did through COVID was in the best interest and health of our players in mind, and everything we did was approved by the athletic department, administration, and campus administration. The NCAA has interviewed Frost, current and former staff members, administrators, and football players. And Frost has hired an attorney. The allegations of these violations are alleged to have happened within the last 12 months. Now, look, there is no question that was a strange season a year ago and a strange offseason. And preparing for it was equally as strange and certainly not something that anyone really would be accustomed to being, if that makes any sense. Like but Scott Frost, during his 3 seasons at Nebraska, is 12-20. 12-20 at Nebraska after having a 13-0 season in 2017. And for a lot of people, seeming like his return was going to be the ascension for the Cornhuskers in the Big Ten. They have finished tied for 5th or 5th in the West every single season that Scott Frost has been there. You know, I don't know what the great falls are in the history of college sports and college football. But given the run that Nebraska was on in the mid-90s and even in the 80s with Tom Osborne there and winning 3 titles in 4 years and all of that, I mean, their program was at an elite level. At an absolute elite level. And Frank Solich came in, and it was, you know what the Frank Solich thing reminded me of? And Clemson fans, you'll hate this. And I'll pull up the Frank Solich record for you, and I'll pull up this other guy's record too. Frank Solich was the Ken Hatfield hire and situation, and I believe, as bad as people want to say the Tigers were under Ken Hatfield, had Hatfield been allowed to stay, and basically I believe he wasn't allowed to stay because he wasn't Danny Ford, kind of like Frank Solich. You know, Frank Solich wasn't Tom Osborne. So you got to go. You got to go. And it sets your program back. And Nebraska has not been the same with Bill Callahan and whoever else they've hired since before they got to Scott Frost. It has not been the same. That's a huge part of the reason I think that Clemson had the backslide that they had under, my name's Tommy West. I'm not a smart football coach. You know, when Tommy West was there, people were so disappointed. There was a 3-8 season, for crying out loud. Bowden comes in, sets the stage. Dabo now running with it. Running with a championship-style program, and it took years to get back there. Scott Frost's first 3 seasons not giving me a ton of confidence in Coach Frost being the guy either. And now this allegation. Stay with us. Lawton Swan here. And I know in sports, we're always talking about the big guy. Well, let me tell you, when you're buying a car, you don't need that. What you need to do is head down to Orangeburg to my good friends at Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac. 4 generations of family-owned business right there at Ferry Chevrolet. No dock fees, no tricks, straightforward pricing in a low-pressure environment you'll love. Check them out online, ferrychevrolet.com, or call them 803-536-1600. It's Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac, just a short 30-minute drive off of exit 145A in Orangeburg.
Summertime in the famously hot Midlands of South Carolina. That can put a lot of stress on your HVAC system. And if your air conditioning goes out, that can put a lot of stress on you. Make the right call to On-Call Plumbing, Heating, and Air. With On-Call, they'll send you a trained technician, not a trained salesperson. OnCallSC.com.
On-Call Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Pick up the phone and we'll be right there. Call 781-HELP.
Scott here with Traditions Fine Jewelers with some exciting news. A second Traditions Fine Jewelers, Gamecock Tradition, and Tiger Tradition will be opening in the Northeast this September. As we're getting ready to open, we're looking for new people to add to our current staff. Are you a happy person that loves meeting people? At Traditions, we can certainly tell you about top dollar pay, the commissions, and the health benefits, which are all really good. Instead, it's the love of the job and excitement you'll feel coming to work every day that really sets us apart. Don't believe me? Ask our current staff. The average employment time at Traditions is over 14 years. That doesn't happen by accident. Fantastic retail hours, too. Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6, and closed Sunday, making it a family-friendly job, too. We are setting up interviews now at our Lexington location, and we'll be adding staff at both Lexington and Northeast, including management opportunities. Call us at 803-520-1969 or email me at scott@traditionsfinejewelers.com to set up an appointment, or just stop by the store and let's see if we can work together. Traditions Fine Jewelers is located at 5134 Sunset Boulevard. Traditions Fine Jewelers, where the Midlands get engaged.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like you're going 100 miles an hour, barely keeping up. But to cruise through challenges, you need someone who's right there with you. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the tech advice you need to get past whatever's in front of you and get to where you want to go. For advice on solutions like XPS 13 laptops powered by Intel Evo platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
There's no place like Panera, where a bite of the toasty, saucy Chipotle chicken avocado melt tastes like, focaccia. A cool and refreshing strawberry poppy seed salad al fresco is so sweet. And a cheesy Chipotle chicken and bacon flatbread pizza in your favorite booth feels just right. So treat yourself, because there's no place like Panera. Order on the app today. Restrictions apply. Visit PaneraBread.com.
Finish your summer with a true crime podcast binge with iHeart. No one else has more true crime podcasts. Go deep on cases, form your own theories, and even help out investigators in real time with true crime podcasts to die for, like the new iHeart series Murder in Illinois.
That dark side would come out.
Meet the new Dr. Death in the hit podcast's third season.
His nickname was the Super Surgeon.
Plus hundreds more to get you hooked. It's True Crime Podcast Week. iHeart, #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one app.
Families affected by disasters urgently need support. Help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to those affected by disasters, big and small. Donate to Red Cross Disaster Relief. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS.
Fox Sports Radio 1400. Online at foxsportsradio1400.com. On your phone with the iHeartRadio app and on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos. An iHeart radio station.
Shout out to my man HD. He's checking out the program at his office. Got us up on the big screen. That's nice. That's nice. The only thing nicer than this face at regular size is this face on like 65-inch television, right? I mean, that's what I'm saying. So in the news today also, obviously, COVID-19 is one of the hot topics. And I know that there are conversations right now about what goes on in Charlotte with the mask mandates and I think an indoor facility. So it's possible covering that game on September 4th that I'll be in the press box with a mask on, got the credentials ready to go. And I don't know what will be. I mean, you think about this and I don't have the COVID-19 numbers in front of me. I wish I did. From December the 10th or whatever, when Clemson and Notre Dame were playing in the ACC championship game in front of like a handful of people. And the fact that now you got Georgia and Clemson opening up the season and you've got this COVID Delta variant, which, I wondered about this because, look, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. And I saw an article that, because I want to know, why is this variant spreading more rapidly? And what it showed was that the old variant, I think, infected, if one person had it, that like 2 people would get it, 2 or 3, I think it was. And this one is 7. So it's just ballooned the numbers up. And I mean, that's a big problem for college football, a bigger problem than I think anybody wants to believe it is. I think most people would like to believe that, oh man, we're through this. And it felt like it. That's the thing. Like, that was the tease of what we had back in June and July. Like, it felt like we were getting through this and there felt like some normalcy. I was talking to my buddy Bobby yesterday, and he said, man, it really felt like we were coming through. And now you look at the numbers and you see the hospitals and all the conversations that people are talking about, and it feels like we've taken back steps. And we have. We have taken back steps. But the Big 12 Conference announced today its rules for COVID-19 protocols. And Dabo Swinney said yesterday, and we'll hear some more from Dabo Swinney in hour number 2 of the program. But Swinney said yesterday that Clemson's not at 100% vaccination rates for their players. They're close, their players and staff. He said they're close. I think he even said they're in a good spot or something along those lines. But the Big 12 issued their forfeiture rules yesterday. And according to the statement provided by the Big 12, if a conference game is canceled due to a team not having enough players due to COVID-19 or any reason, that team will forfeit and will be credited with a loss in the conference standings. The opponent will earn a win in the conference standings, which I immediately thought to myself, well, what does that mean for like what happened a year ago in Tallahassee, where Mike Norvell and the Seminoles refused to play Clemson after one player who traveled tested positive to COVID-19 for Clemson? I mean, that was the absurd part of the whole thing for me. Either you trust the test or you don't. Either you believe that everybody else was negative or you don't. And that means you don't trust the test if that was the case. And I never will forgive Florida State for that moment in the midst of a pandemic where I should have felt some sort of understanding. But this is a team with plenty of players available to play. One guy positive out of the whole group, and the other team chooses not to play.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Yeah. Me and you both. Now, for the purpose of conference standings, both teams will be deemed to have played the game. In addition, a forfeit can be declared at any point before a contested contest, and when possible, could occur prior to the visiting team commencing travel. In a case where both teams are unable to compete, which I'm sure you were wondering, a no contest will be declared, and if needed, an unbalanced tiebreaker would be used to determine conference championship participants in football or championship seeding in other sports. The Big 12 commissioner retains discretion to declare a no contest if extraordinary circumstances warrant it. So again, that's how the Big 12 will be handling COVID-19. And it will be interesting to see how the ACC and the SEC and other leagues handle COVID-19. All right, coming up in hour number 2, we're going to hear more from Dabo Swinney. This audio coming to you from yesterday. Plus, I want to plant a seed. I'm going to plant it right now. Got it? Think of all the players in college football. We've been talking a lot about NIL. And we even talked about the name team, the best name team for 2021, the college football all-name team. But there is a player out there who recently signed an NIL deal that was an absolute no-brainer because of his name. Take a minute, process the information, drop us a text if you're not driving. Never text while driving. 803-450-0086, 803-450-0086. And let us know, who is that player? Do you know? Now, look, if you're playing along at home and you've already heard this news, then yeah, you know it. And no, you don't have to text us to tell us that you know it. But if you don't know, take a guess. Like, think of all the names out there. Think of products that are out there. And see if you can come up with what player signed an NIL deal with another major brand. I don't think quite as major as Dr. Pepper with DJ, but a pretty major brand. Pretty major brand. We'll tell you about that. Plus, we'll hear from Dabo Swinney coming up in hour number 2. Stay with us here for more of the show that shakes the Southland.
Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan on Columbia's home for sports. Fox Sports Radio 1400. Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic, sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
A look at traffic shows a wreck on Leesburg Road at Moonrise Street. Also, an accident with injuries on Garner's Ferry at Lewis LeConte. I'm Rob Sanders. Reach out to me in the 103.5 FM WVOC traffic.
This report is sponsored by JustPlainKillers.com. Summer means cookouts, pool parties, and more people in your house. So prevent unwanted access to prescription opioids. Take them out of medicine cabinets and lock them in a safe place only you know about. Learn more opioid safety tips at JustPlainKillers.com.
I'm Mark Morial, President and CEO of the National Urban League. Peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the presence of justice. Our friends at the Peace in the Streets Global Film Festival are introducing their Kids, Cops, and Kindness Equals Safer Streets initiative. And this promotes the United Nations 11th Sustainable Development Goal. I'm inviting everyone, 18 and under, to visit psgff.com to learn how to create a short video about how you envision creating peace in the streets and enter it into this year's Peace in the Streets Global Film Festival.
The world is upside down and millions of Americans are out of work. Debt keeps rising, and yet taxes and interest rates are at historically low levels. What's going to happen next? Oh, I don't know. Space monkeys could arrive. Times like these, it is important to do your homework and be prepared, especially if you're near retirement. Hi, it's Glenn Beck. This is not the time to go it alone and hope for the best. I want you to call Pat Struby today and find out what he can do for you right now. Do what other families just like yours have done for over 20 years. Call the team at Preservation Specialists. Call 803-9-RETIRE and schedule a complimentary phone or video consultation. Pat Struby and his team at Preservation Specialists are local and independent. Their focus is you and your retirement. So call 803-9-RETIRE. Schedule a complimentary consultation and be prepared for your retirement years. 803-9-RETIRE.
Glenn Beck has been remunerated and is not a client. Investment advisory services offered through Kalos Capital Inc. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Every year, Steve Faircal climbs the stairs at the John Hancock Center in Chicago, 94 floors to the top.
It's called the hustle up the Hancock.
It's hard to believe when you watch Steve today that a few years ago, his lungs were failing and he was fighting to survive.
For 8 hours a day, someone was pounding on my chest to try and keep my lungs clear. I honestly don't think I had more than a couple weeks to live.
That's when Steve received the gift of life, a double lung transplant made possible by an organ donor.
After I got my new lungs, I started doing things that I had never been able to do. I never knew that breathing could feel this good.
Steve climbs to honor his donor and to raise awareness for organ, eye, and tissue donation.
Wouldn't you like that when you left this beautiful planet, that you could save a few lives on your way out? It's an incredible gift.
Imagine what you could make possible by leaving behind the gift of life. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Unit 121 responding to possible carbon monoxide poisoning.
Carbon monoxide is an odorless, colorless, tasteless gas that kills more than 500 Americans every year. Never use generators, grills, camp stoves, or other gasoline or charcoal burning devices inside your home, basement, or garage, or near a window. If it's cold, stay with friends or family or in a shelter. To learn more, call 1-800-CDC-INFO.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. MAD is here to help. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
WCOS Columbia, Fox Sports Radio 1400, an iHeart radio station available everywhere on our free iHeart Radio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one.
It's time for Clemson
Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Just call me Swanny.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
It is hour number 2. That's drive time right here on the show that shakes the Southland on a Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 5 o'clock here right now on the show that shakes the Southland. Our good buddy Nick listening to the show in Georgia, who, yes, I'm happy to report, if anybody hasn't tuned in a while, Nick did receive his Clemson Sports Talk t-shirt that he won a long time ago, and I finally made good my promise to mail it.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40! I'm not a kid!
So, Nick, man, appreciate you. He said, Swanny, is it JT Daniels? Wow, Nick. I like it. But I don't think athletes, I think part of the NIL, you can't do alcohol. But the Jack Daniels, JT Daniels deal makes a lot of sense to me, brother. Sign Nick up if you're looking for a marketing guy. That's not the one. Keep guessing. Keep your eyeballs on it. The thing I appreciate. The thing I appreciate. The thing I appreciate is the fact that Nick didn't cheat, didn't look it up. He's still thinking. So that's great. But then, like any family, I got to get ribbed a little bit about how long it took me to mail that thing to Nick. And John in Archdale, North Carolina comes in and says, congratulations, Nick. To which I know John is only a ribbing of me.
Oh, nice guy.
I mean, just because it took me 8 months to mail it, I did mail it. I finally got it in the mail. There are a couple other people still waiting on stuff. Sorry to those people. Nick, in fairness though, Nick's got to take some of this because he didn't put his full address. And when I went to mail it, they said, sir, do you know the mailing address? And I was like, this is what he gave me. They're like, that's a big road. That's a big road in Georgia, sir. Well, I'm like, well, just look for the Clemson mailbox. Obviously, that'll be Nick's place. 803-450-0086. Text line, phone line. Appreciate each and every one of you for being a part of the program. Again, Dabo Swinney yesterday spoke with members of the media. We heard from him after Saturday's scrimmage a little bit earlier in the program, but now we turn our attention to yesterday's practice up in Tiger Town as Clemson has a scrimmage tomorrow to pretty much begin to put the bow on, the button on fall camp. Dabo Swinney was again asked to elaborate further on what's going on with the offensive line. And it's wild because a lot of you listening to this show have been bringing that up quite a bit. You've been saying, Swanny, here's what we want to know about. And it's been a lot about the offensive front. Well, here's Dabo Swinney touching on that topic yesterday afternoon in Tiger Town.
Well, it's still a work in progress. I think all of them have done some good things. And the biggest thing is consistency. I think all of them physically can get the job done, and I think all three mentally can get the job done. But consistency with our snaps, that's the area we got to make some strides in. You got to be 100%, 99.99999%. When it comes to the CQ exchange, so that's an area that I think we got to clean up as we really hone in coming out of camp here. But all those guys have done a good job. Trent Howard has done a really good job. I'm really pleased with him. He's probably the most consistent when it comes to just the CQ exchange part. And but I think mentally and physically, we got some guys that can get the job done. But again, just still need a little more consistency there.
Dabo Swinney says they still need a little bit more consistency. Called the offensive line still a work in progress. Again, these comments coming from yesterday afternoon up in Tigertown. Swinney also was asked about his opportunity to go back and watch the tape, watch the film from the scrimmage on Saturday. And here's what Clemson's head coach had to say on that front.
Well, I mean, it's important, but listen, every day is important. I mean, when you're in camp, I mean, it's not just the scrimmages. I mean, you got to look at the totality of camp. You know, sometimes a guy can have a bad day, but he had a great camp. Or somebody can, you know, have a bad camp and has a great scrimmage. You know, so I think you got to weigh all that stuff together. But it's important. I mean, every single day that we come out here, it's critically important. But I think the biggest thing Saturday was just it's probably the best first scrimmage defensively that I've been a part of here. I mean, just absolutely no mistakes from a beating yourself standpoint, no penalties. I mean, just didn't give up big plays, got stops in the red zone. I mean, they no drop off. I mean, I just was very pleased with how crisp they played. And then offensively, first group started out pretty good, moved the ball well, just kind of stalled out, had to settle for some field goals. But then as the day wore on, I thought the energy of the defense, they started getting some pressure. And, you know, we kind of made some mistakes. But, you know, I think we had 10 or 11 penalties on offense. So we had CQ exchange issues, had a couple of drops. We got running backs, receivers jumping off sides. And those are things you just can't do. It's hard enough to move the ball. And now when you're having kind of self-inflicted issues, that's not good. So today was much better from that standpoint, much better. Didn't have near as many penalties offensively. We did have a couple of tip picks that was disappointing, but defensively, I thought, you know, they had another solid day. We did have a couple boneheaded mistakes. We did have about 4 penalties on defense today. But it was a little more competitive. I thought Saturday the defense just won the day from top to bottom. And then again today, a little more competitive, but I would still say the defense, you know, came out with the edge, won the 2-minute drill, and you know, won the 3rd down drill as well. So still got some work to do, but I tell you, it's a blessing to be able to have the type of people that we got on this field to make each other better.
Dabo Swinney again, iron sharpens iron, and the Clemson Tigers getting after it on the gridiron in preparation for that matchup with Georgia will certainly help them. Some Georgia injury news we mentioned earlier in the program. We'll get back to that here coming up in just a few minutes as we roll along on a Wednesday afternoon. 803-450-0086. Text line, phone line wide open. Nick wears the shirt proudly, by the way. He told me as well. So again, always thankful for your text messages and the conversations that you guys give us live, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Swinney was asked to give an update on some injuries. We know Joe Ngata's been banged up. That's not great. Like, that is just not great because he spent the majority of last season banged up. But here's some of what Coach Swinney had to say. And he said he wasn't going to get into it all, but he did dive in just a little bit for us on the injury front.
Not going to get any specifics because we just got a bunch of guys banged up. You know, I mean, Joe's still out. Hopefully, it's not a long-term thing. He's battling a hamstring. But I think everything that we're dealing with, John Williams is probably the one that's maybe a little more longer term. He'll be back at some point, but he's probably a little more. The rest of the guys, you know, they're all kind of day to day. You know, it's been a long 2 weeks of camp, a lot of banging, and you know, guys just get to that point where it's something. It's a toenail. It's falling off. It's a sore shoulder. It's you know, whatever. We've got a little bit of everything. But you know, probably the only one right now that I'm concerned about is John. He's probably more long term.
So there you go, Coach Swinney talking about John Williams, offensive lineman, and him being a little bit banged up and a little bit more, quote, long term. Now, Swinney sort of said exactly what Kirby Smart said when we talked to you earlier today about the injuries at Georgia. Darnell Washington, who I expected, if Eric Gilbert stays out, to be a possible go-to guy at tight end. I could see him running some sets with maybe both of those guys out there. Apparently injured his foot in practice. And also a defensive player, Keith Smith, I believe is his name, was injured as well. And again, those guys are day-to-day. And at this point, day-to-day could very easily lead into the day of Clemson's matchup with the Georgia Bulldogs. So those injuries sound a little bit more than, hey, we're just a little bit banged up. But guys are banged up, kind of like you heard Coach Swinney talking about John Williams being a little bit banged up and thinks that's a longer-term issue for Williams. One of the other things, kind of focusing on that offensive line, is the news that Matt Bockhorst has played some at center, and maybe more than some people would have liked in terms of Clemson fans on the outside, maybe even more than Robbie Caldwell would like as the coach on the inside. But the question was asked, okay, well, when Bockhorst is at center, then, who's playing left guard? Like, what does your rotation look like if Baki, as they call him, if Baki, I think Swinney might be the only one that calls him Baki. Everybody else calls him Bach. But if Baki's at center, what else is happening around him?
Oh, absolutely. There's competition everywhere. We've been cross-training guys. Everyone, Marcus Tate's the guy that's been working left tackle and guard. He's working the ones, the twos. T.O.'s another guy. Rayburn has played guard. Trotter's played guard. I mean, we've got all kind of combinations. The good news is we got more guys that can play, for us. So I'm excited about that. We're still, like I said, a work in progress with a couple of 2.5 weeks here before our first game. But I think we got a lot more guys that can go in and get the job done for us than we had this time last year.
So, again, it sounds like, listening to Dabo Swinney, that there's still a lot left to be decided there on the offensive front, but maybe Marcus Tate, if Bockhorst ends up having to be the guy, might be somebody who they rotate in there at left guard. Another spot where Clemson will be able to rotate guys on the offensive side of the ball is at running back. I mean, we know about this group. Matter of fact, if you read The Roar today on ClemsonSportsTalk.com, you will know that I have a nickname for both Phil Maffa and Will Shipley. Will and Phil, the Fresh Prince, Prints. That was part of the article that Scott Sasser put up today as we bring back The Roar Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and hopefully go into a 5-day release schedule soon. But those running backs at practice not only have to tote the biscuit down the field, those guys also have to be prepared for every single thing and wrinkle that Brent Venables throws them. And they were or at least Coach Swinney was asked about that as well. How has the running back room done, especially given what they face at practice going up against BV, Brent Venables? Would that be if it's Brent Venables' defense, is that BVDs? I mean, is that what we're calling that as BVDs? I don't know if Coach Venables would like it. I better eat those words right now. Put that on replay. Don't let that hit the public waves. Nonetheless, here's what Coach Swinney had to say.
Our running back room is really good. I love those guys. I think we got a great group. We got a couple, true freshmen in Shipley and Maffa that are going to be great players. And every single day is a learning experience for them. Kobe is, he's a true sophomore. He doesn't really carry himself that way. He kind of carries himself as a more, seasoned veteran. That's kind of how he goes about his business. Lynn Jay's got a ton of experience around here. We all know what he can do. Mikey Dukes just got a little later start to camp than the rest of the guys, so he was not in pads today. He's still in his acclimatization period. But Mikey's a guy that just kind of missed out on some early opportunity, but we'll get him back rolling. And Rencher is a savvy veteran as well. So we got a really good room. I mean, I'm confident in all those guys. I think we're going to be able to have some explosiveness and some guys that can do some things in the passing game and so forth. But yeah, as I said, it's a blessing when and not just the defense. It's a blessing for our defense to have the type of offensive personnel that they see every day. I mean, you're not going to see a better offensive lineman in the country than Jordan McFadden. Nowhere. I mean, and Parks is not far off. And so for our ends to have to go against those type of players, and for our backers and our DBs, secondary guys to have to match up against the skill, the tight ends, the backs, it's a challenge for our defenses because there's a lot going on. And then the same thing, vice versa, man. It's baptism by fire when you come on this practice field, because you're going to see every front, every coverage, every blitz. We don't tiptoe through the installation from a defensive standpoint, But in the end, that's really good when you start game planning, when you really start to pare things down. Every year, that's one of the things I always see is the guys. They've been exposed to so much on the practice field. It helps us on game day for both sides, and that's one of the reasons I think we've been so successful around here for a long time. Is there's not many teams in the country that can compete against each other in practice like we can. And to be honest with you, that's more important than anything. If you go to the national championship, that's 15 total days out of 365. That's it. So the other 350, that's really what it's all about. And so that's who you're training with, who you're competing against on the practice field every single day. And I think that we're very fortunate because we get exposed on this practice field as coaches. We get exposed as players, and it makes us better for game day.
Dabo Swinney again, talking about that Clemson running back group, and more importantly, just about what Clemson faces at practice every single day. Now, if you've been a part of this show for any time, one of the guys I'm looking forward to seeing, Trenton Simpson. I don't think Mike Jones Jr. leaves for LSU if Trenton Simpson isn't in Tiger Town. I fully believe that as great a competitor as people can be, as great of a leader as somebody might be, you can be in a situation where you look around and you recognize that the guy beside you is just better, and your opportunity might be limited. Here's Coach Swinney talking about Trenton Simpson and how he's been playing during fall camp.
Really good. He's a baller. He's a great player. He's still a young player, and obviously made some great strides for us last year. But he's I think he's had a very good camp. You just notice him all the time. He's still got some details that you'd like to see him be a little more detailed in certain areas. But he's one of those guys that covers up mistakes. Just a tremendous young prospect that's going to just keep getting better.
So again, Dabo Swinney there saying Trenton Simpson, that he's a baller. No doubt, man. That kid's a heck of a football player. 803-450-0086. Our website, ClemsonSportsTalk.com. Have you ever been? Ask yourself that. Have you ever been to the site? If you haven't, go check it out. If you're thinking it looks like something that was created in a computer lab in Serene Hall in 1995, you're wrong. Go check that out, man. It'll blow your doors off. You won't believe how good Clemson Sports Talk looks. If you really like it and you really like the show, what you can do is support us. Memberships to our website, just $63.17. Now, we do a lot of stuff absolutely free. We give it away. But we do some things for premium subscribers only, and we'd love to have your support. It helps us grow. And if we can grow, this show can get better opportunity. So sort of, kind of you putting in a little bit to back what we do. That's your investment in us, and we appreciate it. And we'll try to bring you $63.17 worth of goodness year round. So if you like the show, consider it. With a quick break here on the program, and Bounce back. I want to ask you a question of major importance.
Now your chance to win $1,000 and a trip to our iHeartRadio Music Festival. Text the nationwide keyword WIN to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in the nationwide contest. That's WIN to 200-200. Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic, sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
A wreck on Shop at Atlas, also a tie-up Bauer Parkway at Saturn Parkway. If you're stuck, use the 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Stream what you love with the new Roku Express 4K Plus. Brilliant 4K picture quality, smooth Wi-Fi, and a voice remote with TV controls so you can enjoy your favorite channels like iHeartRadio. Play iHeart and listen to podcasts like Stuff You Should Know, the Ron Burgundy Podcast, The Breakfast Club, and more. Roku Express 4K Plus. It's all the streaming essentials you need at the affordable price you want. It's streaming made easy. Get yours now at Roku.com. Happy streaming.
Hello, I'm Mackenzie with Exact Data. I'm excited to share how our team can help your business with its customer acquisition goals. Exact Data has been helping businesses of all sizes find new customers for over 20 years. With over 4,000 unique filters, you're sure to find the most targeted emails, postal addresses, and phone numbers fit for your business. Want a list of new homeowners in your area or looking to reach self-employed business owners? Maybe you're looking for people passionate about charitable causes or a list of medical professionals in your area. We can help. At Exact Data, we have the perfect list to help you grow your business. For pricing, text LIST to 606-MY-LEADS. Remember, text LIST to 606-695-3237, which spells 606-MY-LEADS, and we'll reply with the information you need to get leads for your business. Again, text LIST to 606-MY-LEADS, and you'll be well on your way to reaching your sales goals.
Hey guys, Lawton Swan here. I was hanging out in the backyard with my son Mason a couple of years ago, and he said, "Dad, you're the best father ever." When I asked him why, he said, "Because when I go outside to play, I don't get eaten up by the bugs anymore." Imagine that, me, a hero, when all I did was call my good buddy Trey Powell at Mosquito Joe. With their routine service plan, no more bugs and no more bites. Make yourself the family hero. Call Mosquito Joe today, 803-223-7916. That's 803-223-7916. Outside is fun again.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today, I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, "That's rad." It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, "Totally, just shorter." As in, "I totes love going to the mall with Becca." Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, "Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case."
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Stay on top of today's pop culture. Ace and TJ Mornings and today's hit music all day on 104.7 WNOK.
Clemson Sports Talk on a Wednesday, the show that shakes the Southland. Thank you for being a part of the program. Again, tell your friends and neighbors. And, you know, I run into a lot of people that have never heard of the show. I run into a lot of people that have never heard of us. So help us out. Share our work. Tell people. Updates galore out of Tigertown today, right? That was, again, Dabo Swinney from yesterday afternoon. And kind of hearing him talk about Trenton Simpson. And I know we've had the poll question up over on the website in the past. But, man, as we get closer and you start to hear little things here and there about the team. Here's the question I got for you today. Which player are you most excited to see in 2021 at Clemson? Like, what player? I don't know. It doesn't matter to me if you say, man, I'm ready to see DJ Swanny. I'm ready to see DJ do the thing. I'm ready to see DJ go at it. Maybe it's Trenton Simpson, like me. I mean, I'm kind of anxious to see that. And maybe it's Will Shipley for you. Tell us who and why. What is it about the prospect that makes you go, yeah, that's the guy I'm ready to see? Maybe it's Justin Ross. You're just excited to have him back. Like, this is not a question about just freshmen. It's not a question about anybody in particular. Overall, what player are you most excited about? I think mine is still Trenton Simpson. Because I believe Simpson is good enough to be as good as Isaiah Simmons. Like, I think he can be that good. I think he's more of a cross between Isaiah Simmons and Dorian O'Daniel. But I think he can be that good. And if that doesn't make your little Clemson heart palpitate a little bit faster, I don't know what will. Gamecock Nation's like, what is happening here? Dude, that's the way it is when you got a guy like that on your team who you feel like can be a true difference maker. I mean, honestly, if you said to me, Swanny, give me a name, give me a player that you think might get a pick 6 this year, I'm going to tell you, your boy might go with Trent Simpson as one of the guys I think will get a pick 6. I mean, I could easily see somebody checking down out of the backfield to a tight end or a running back, and that dude just ripping the ball out of the air and taking it to the house. It won't look exactly like A.J. Terrell's interception and pick return against Tua in the national championship game because it will be coming from the inside out, most likely than the outside in. But believe me, if Trenton Simpson is racing down the sidelines toward the end zone this year off of a pick 6, best believe I'll go, I told you I thought that was going to happen. I think he's that good. And not that, and again, that shouldn't come across as, well, Swanny should have one pick. Didn't turn my lights on today. I wonder why the lighting looked weird. Swanny said a kid's going to get one interception, and that's going to make him the greatest player in the history of mankind. Not the greatest player in the history of mankind, but close. No, I just think he's that good. So who's the guy for you? Let us know. Leave us a message. Let's see what we got. Bruce says he thinks he knows who the guy is. And when he says that, he's talking about who's the player that got the deal based off of his name. If you're out there and you're getting ready to name your kid something, maybe if you think they're going to be an athlete, you go ahead and try to lock this stuff up. But I don't even know how it works out. Like, let's just say that the kid's name was Roomba, for lack of a better term. Like, if you're Roomba, why do you feel the need to sign a deal with Roomba? Doesn't that already spread the word about your business every time Roomba makes a tackle? Roomba Smith in on the tackle. Man, my Roomba, I need to get a Roomba. Kleenex Turner on the tackle. Who is it? We'll tell you who it is in just a minute. Glucosamine Chondritin Swan on the play. I don't know. You guys crack me up. But Bruce says he thinks he knows. Anthony says he's wearing his Clemson Sports Talk shirt today. Anthony, unite, man. Let's do it. Anthony's also ready to see Xavier Thomas. Wouldn't it be nice if Xavier Thomas looks the way he did look previously, back when he was planting? Was it Eric Dungy? Is that Syracuse? Was that Syracuse's quarterback? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a little Eric Dungy tree sprouted right next to the little James Blackman tree that Trey Lamar planted in Death Valley a few years ago. Like I expect Clemson's ground crew has to go out there every once in a while and just trim those trees down because, buddy, those dudes got planted in the ground hard. XT, that's a great pick. See, and I like that, Anthony, because it's a little bit off the wall. It's a little bit off the wall because most people, when they talk about, oh, who we're ready to see and anxious to see, they're going, man, it's Will Shipley. Man, it's TJ. I like that pick, Anthony. My sister's in the house today. She says Justin Ross. I want to see him do well. I love his Instagram. He says he can't wait to tell his mama and grandmama that they don't have to work anymore. Yeah, that's a good one too. And I mentioned this the other day, and I'll hold firm. It's hard to justify or quantify, I guess is the better word, what kind of impact Justin Ross could have had on Clemson a year ago. Can you imagine if you had had the fortune of having Justin Ross along with Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, let alone anything else that was out there? Would have been a big deal. All right, we'll tell you who the player is that got a deal because of his name when we get back right here on the show that shakes the Southland.
I'm Mark Morial, President and CEO of the National Urban League. Peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the presence of justice. Our friends at the Peace in the Streets Global Film Festival are introducing their Kids, Cops, and Kindness Equals Safer Streets initiative. And this promotes the United Nations 11th Sustainable Development Goal. I'm inviting everyone, 18 and under, to visit psgff.com to learn how to create a short video about how you envision creating peace in the streets and enter it into this year's Peace in the Streets Global Film Festival.
Scott here with Traditions Fine Jewelers with some exciting news. A second Traditions Fine Jewelers, Gamecock Tradition, and Tiger Tradition will be opening in the Northeast this September. As we're getting ready to open, we're looking for new people to add to our current staff. Are you a happy person that loves meeting people? At Traditions, we can certainly tell you about top dollar pay, the commissions, and the health benefits, which are all really good. Instead, it's the love of the job and excitement you'll feel coming to work every day that really sets us apart. Don't believe me? Ask our current staff. The average employment time at Traditions is over 14 years. That doesn't happen by accident. Fantastic retail hours, too. Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6, and closed Sunday, making it a family-friendly job, too. We are setting up interviews now at our Lexington location, and we'll be adding staff at both Lexington and Northeast, including management opportunities. Call us at 803-520-1969 or email me at scott@traditionsfinejewelers.com to set up an appointment, or just stop by the store and let's see if we can work together. Traditions Fine Jewelers is located at 5134 Sunset Boulevard. Traditions Fine Jewelers, where the Midlands get engaged.
Now your chance to win $1,000 and a trip to our iHeartRadio Music Festival. Text the nationwide keyword WIN to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's WIN to 200-200.
This is Chris Collinsworth. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network, presented by DraftKings.
Promising start for Jets rookie quarterback Zach Wilson in his NFL debut. The number 2 overall pick looked poised and was the second highest graded quarterback at PFF. The Jets roster has improved under head coach Robert Saleh and general manager Joe Douglas, but still ranks among the worst in the league in terms of offensive playmakers. Jets fans should get better quarterback play and a real focus on defense for this season. I'm Chris Collinsworth.
Download the DraftKings app and use code SPORTS to get a free shot at millions of dollars up for grabs this week with your first deposit.
Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
I'm Tamara Pridgett.
And I'm Adrienne Herbert. And we're co-hosts of Sweat the Details, a collaboration from Under Armour and iHeartRadio.
It's a brand new podcast by women, for women, here to shake up the conversation about women in sport and fitness.
iHeartRadio is #1 for podcasts, but don't take our word for it. Find Sweat the Details on the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to. Nope. I'm sure you've got a perfectly good excuse. Kids, work. I get it. You're busy. So what better time than now? Let's begin. Raise one finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, count in your head if you're driving. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40, 1 more if you're not physically active, another finger if anyone in your family has type 2 diabetes, another if you've got high blood pressure. If you're overweight, raise another finger, 2 if you're very overweight, and 3 if you're really overweight. You've just taken the world's first audio prediabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partner.
Want to hit a home run with your smart speaker?
Just say something like this.
Alexa, play Fox Sports Radio 1400 on iHeartRadio.
Happy Wednesday, Clemson Sports Talk. Lawton Swan with you again. Thank you for hanging out with us. All right, so we were talking about the player whose name alone got him an NIL deal. And it's funny because we went through that list of guys with unique names in the all-name list the other day. And I didn't even think about kind of looking to see, could we dive into one? You know, could we get somebody based off of that? I did see that Justin Ross, what a name. Justin says, I guess Jack Daniels was the stay-at-home adult beverage during the pandemic, right? But Alabama freshman Quincy Kool-Aid McKinstry, who Clemson and others pursued pretty heavily, signed a deal with, you guessed it. Nope, not Quincy's. That's what you were thinking. Kool-Aid. Yeah, got a deal with Kool-Aid. So Kool-Aid Man, I guess J. Quincy McKinstry's name on Twitter, JAQMCK1, tweeted, so does this mean I get to shout, oh yeah, if I want, when I walk into a room? Hashtag or at Kool-Aid. So again, a freshman signing a pretty big deal here. I'm sure it's fairly substantial. Kool-Aid's a pretty big company. I don't even know who actually owns the Kool-Aid brand, but oh yeah, Kool-Aid McKinstry. Now it's official. Again, from Kool-Aid's standpoint, though, every time the kid makes a play, you're already going to get the benefit. You didn't have to sign anything, but I guess if a kid's name was Gatorade Smith, it would keep Powerade from signing a deal with him. That would be strange. A dude named Gatorade telling you how Powerade's the best thing to drink, but I mean, I don't know. I do wonder about some of the more marketable names out there. Like, to me, the fact that DJ Uiagalelei does not have a deal with Beats by Dre? I mean, for crying out loud, his name is DJ. Like the commercial writes itself. Yo, DJ, put on my favorite song. I got you. And he's just got the beats hanging right. He just, hey, Shlomo, play whatever. Where's Gary V when I need him? Gary, call me, please. Let me be a part of this Vayner Sports Squad. I can hook these guys up. I got ideas, man. I got ideas. James Koski. Dude could be on like the Vlasic pickle spears because he's spearing these people left and right, and that's too soon. Too soon for the Koski Spears jokes. Bernard says he's actually excited to see Skoski. That's where that came from. And Bernard shared the show. Thanks, Bernard. Now I got to put you in the penalty box, too, for trying to spread the love and let more people know. Let more people know about the show that shakes the Southland. We can't just keep this as a little tight-knit community. We got to go and share it like Bernard did. Now I have to punish Bernard. When are you guys going to learn? Thank you, Bernard. Appreciate it, buddy. I'd like to know, Bruce, if you're still watching over on YouTube, did you get it right? Bruce actually chatted. That's kind of a cool feature about the YouTube thing. Ricky. No. Oh, no. Ricky just knocked it out of the park. Mikey. You just take the second Dukes out, Ricky, and I think you got something. Mikey Dukes Mayo. Yes. Mikey Dukes Mayo. Ricky, if Gary B comes to me, you're hired. You're on the staff too. The creative team. The creative marketing team. Oh, that is now look what you've done. Now you guys got me thinking about every single player. I'm like going through the roster. Miles Murphy Express. Right? Dude, then he just gets his nickname, the Murphy Express. I mean, that's what you call him when he hits you off the edge. Bob Kenneth says, sign me up. This is the greatest segment we've ever done. Bach Kenneth says, Bockhorst Bratwursts. Yes. Why is that not a thing already? Although it's very hard to say. Honey, did you pick up the Bockhorst Bockwursts? I can't even say it. The Bockhorst Bratwurst? Wow. Okay. I'm laughing so hard I'm crying. This is getting rolled over. You're going to have 4 minutes to plan. You're going to have 4 minutes to come up with some good ones. Look through the Clemson roster. Please. I'm going to be looking. Come off the cuff, off the hip. Pew, pew. We're going to do it together in the final segment. We're going to come up with a list of no-brainer NIL deals. I wasn't an NIL fan until the Mikey Dukes Mayo and the Bockhorst Bratwurst came right into my lap here. I'm like, what are we doing? The Murphy Express deal. Like Larry the Cable Guy said, get her done. Let's go. Swanny's marketing team is coming together. Forget Gary V. You need Swanny. We'll take you to the top. No-brainer marketing and the NIL deals. We'll wrap the show with your thoughts on it right after this.
For 28 years, the professional staff of the Hobbs Group and Hobbs Group Advisors has been dedicated to helping others achieve their financial goals by delivering quality, objective financial and accounting solutions to a diverse client base of individuals and businesses all over South Carolina. We offer tax and audit services, bookkeeping, payroll, litigation support, employee benefits, personal financial planning, investment management, and insurance services. Please call us at 803-799-0555 or visit our website, hobbscpa.com, to learn more about our people and services.
When a community grows, its hospital should grow too. And that's just what we're doing at Lexington Medical Center. We recently launched the largest hospital expansion project in South Carolina history. Our new 10-story patient tower will help us take better care of patients, including the tiniest infants who need special attention. It will also make room for the growing number of patients who need surgery and intensive care. At Lexington Medical Center, our mission to serve our community never wavers. We're here when you need us today, and we'll be there when you need us tomorrow.
Let me tell you who I trust to protect my home and my family. Modern Exterminating. Hey, it's Lawton Swan, and when you need top quality service from a team that knows what bugs you, call Modern Exterminating, 765-2315. They're locally owned and offer a full complement of pest elimination services, including complete pest control, termite plans, moisture control, and more. Check out Modern Exterminating online at pestfreesc.com or give them a call today, 765-2315. Modern Exterminating. They know what bugs you.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat Place, just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do. Tell the world I see with an emoji to stop the bullies.
Know someone who's being bullied online? Send the witness emoji. It looks like an eye in a speech bubble, and it's in the symbol section near the clocks in your phone. You'll let the world know it isn't cool, and you'll let your friend know you care. Learn more about the witness emoji at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Live music is back at our 2021 iHeartRadio Music Festival. Listen every weekday to win your way to this ultimate once-in-a-lifetime experience and win $1,000.
What have you done for me lately? It's a fair question. Just don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Don't forget history. Lucky for us at Clemson, the answer to the questions, what have you done for me lately, and what have you done always, are the same. We win.
I honestly don't want to put too much hype on it, but I got a feeling this could, if you participate, this could be the greatest segment we've had in a long time. So I was looking through the list, and I just went through a couple, and some hit me, and some not as great as others. I mentioned I thought DJ would be a fantastic, DJ Uyunglele, a fantastic partner for like Beats by Dre, the big headphones, DJ headphones. I mean, it makes sense. It's almost too easy. But as I was looking over the list, another one that I saw that sort of came to me, like, why Brian Brzee doesn't have a deal with like an air conditioning company. It just changed the emphasis a little bit on his name to Breezy. Hi, I'm Brian Breezy. And then go with like, are you comfortable in your home right now? Well, call our friends at such and so, keepyourcool.com or whatever. Like Brian Breezy seems to have an opportunity. I'm not a fashion guy. I don't know if my t-shirts let you know that or not. But I'm pretty sure that Troy Stellato could maybe sell. Who makes stilettos? Is that not a brand? I mean, can you imagine Troy standing, at the wideout spot in some like 6-inch heels? Remember Joe Namath pulled off the pantyhose commercial years ago? Troy should be pushing stilettos, or however you say the shoe. I can't tell the difference in the shoe and his name. Anthony says, how about Jalen Lay's chips? Right, Jalen Lay. Big bag of salt and vinegar potato chips. That's a match made in heaven. 1 for Jalen because he's a big dude, and 2 for Lay's potato chips. Okay, I've got a partnership here. Kenneth says Xavier's Caviar and Ajo sauce. But do you dip a Reuben in Ajo sauce? Because Clemson does have a Reuben on their roster. Itanosa Reuben and Ajo. Why is that not a sandwich at one of the local Clemson restaurants right now? Keith McGuire. Could we not get Keith signed up with McGuire's Auto Wax? Is this not a possibility? A jus sauce. That is great. Man, looking at the names, dude. Who got me going though? Mikey Duke's mayonnaise. Justin, all I drink is Foster's beer. No. Oh man, no brainers. Just no brainers. I wish I had more time. I didn't realize Tristan Lee Jeans. And now his name's not spelled the same, but could he lean in on that a little bit? Man. I thought about Bacardi and Dakari. Dakari Collins, if they could do some sort of I want Jalen Lay's chips. I'm just going through them now looking, man. The Murphy's Express is not bad. There's probably a zillion other ones. I'll tell you what, because I know we're short on time. If you come up with another one, if you're just sitting around today and you get a chuckle out of something, send it our way, because I'll share them tomorrow on the show. Because I've just been scrolling through the names of these players. Vonta Bentley? Are you kidding? The car company? Yeah. There we go. Justin Ross, the floss guy. Oh, man. Justin Ross. So glad he's going to be back, right? Rook, row your boat gently down the stream. Can we get a commercial there? Is there anything on that front? I'm still looking at names, man. There's got to be something for Potter. Wrencher. Got to be some wrench company out there. You guys, you'll come up with something, man. I know you will. The ones you've already given me are fantastic. God. Oh, the Black Horse Bratwurst. No. Mikey Dukes Mayo. Sign him up. That's what I said. I said Breezy out for an air conditioner commercial. Jolly Ranchers. Jolly Ranchers. All right. We gotta get out of here. You guys are killing me. Jolly Ranchers. Yes. Get that guy paid. I thought the Breezy air conditioner thing. That's what I thought. That's the one I said. But the Jolly Rancher, I'm popping that one back up there. That's a good one. That's good. Oh, man. Hit us up. Drop us a dime. Drop us something. If you're watching on Facebook right now, in the clips, let us know. If you're watching the clips, we'll get them clipped up. No-brainer deals. We want to know what they are. Make us laugh. You can go anywhere nationally. Let us know. All right, we'll hit a break, a 22-hour break. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Until then, as always, y'all take care now. And go Tigers!
Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan on Columbia's home for sports. Fox Sports Radio 1400. Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic, sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
A wreck on I-26 eastbound near the Piney Grove Road exit. Also a wreck on I-20 eastbound near the Monticello Road exit. The 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line is 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by JustPlainKillers.com. Summer means cookouts, pool parties, and more people in your house. So prevent unwanted access to prescription opioids. Take them out of medicine cabinets and lock them in a safe place only you know about. Learn more opioid safety tips at JustPlainKillers.com.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with little tips for a healthier planet. This spring, you can share your own observations about nature with scientists and play a critical role in scientific discovery by adding to the data collection. Discover more about citizen science programs such as monitoring weather, observing plants and animals, and more. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning, the most trusted and reviewed cleaning company in town. Take advantage of their back-to-school sale going on now. 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119. And get the hallway clean for free when you mention this station. Schedule online at ZeroResColumbia.com.
Let radio advertising keep your business top of mind with customers all summer long. Visit iHeartAdBuilder.com to get your business on the radio quickly and easily. You can even make your own radio ad. Just answer a few questions and we'll do the rest. Sign up today at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
Orangutans. They're beautiful, playful, and majestic, and disappearing. Every day, as many as 20 orangutans vanish. They starve to death when their homes are